Harriers. Kidderminster Harriers Fans Podcast, episode 56. Welcome, my friend. 4 points in a week from 2 games, but a naive referee denied 6. Your panel tonight are John. He's trials for AFC Richmond, which is great. You've got Mr. Columbia Dan, and Dan and Nick. Nick's here. Look, man, you couldn't look more suave and sophisticated, Nick.
Sorry, boys. It's not really the football attire that I normally go for, but
read it in black. You'd look like the milk tray man.
Imagine. Next week, that'd be lovely.
I've got many a Rolex, John. I'm sure that doesn't surprise you.
Dan, tell me about the.
That's such a great picture. I love the fact you've now got that on your wall as well. That is awesome. I think it's important to set the record straight and let everybody know that I have become a drug lord and I will be living in Miami from here on. So, I confirm all the rumours. Absolutely 100% confirm them. I had a great time. It's a great place. If you ever get a chance to go out there, lads, I'd recommend it.
Absolutely. Well, with you, I would do, Dan, because the heavies as well in the background. That's amazing.
Come stay on my island, boys, if you fancy it. You're always welcome.
Wow, let's not be going down the island route at this time.
Yeah. What's wrong with him? Nick's gone. He said that.
Was me. That was my. That was my boys. I told them to see Nick off. That was.
He's gone. See you later, Nick. Thank you. Anyway, straight into yesterday. Oh, wait a minute. Let's let Nick back in. Oh, we're so professional. It's ridiculous. Straight. Is he back? Is he back? No, he's gone again. I just want to go straight into straight into yesterday's game where Chester bought a decent following. And although Harriers edged it, we came away with just a point. But with Merthyr losing, it's a point game. So 3 out of 4 of us were there, not including the drug lord himself. So thoughts, please, John, on yesterday's performance against Chester?
I thought that it was a pretty solid performance from everyone across the pitch. I don't think we really reached our top gear. I don't think we reached the heights that we have seen this season, but I thought that we dealt with a team who have been on a good run themselves. They play some front foot football. I thought we dealt with them very well. I think that one of the things that I noticed when we were continually persevering, as we have done with the crosses into the box, which have been pretty effective for us, especially once we've got a central striker in there. Just how good their keeper was at claiming those crosses. I thought that he was dominant in the box, which is unlike a lot of keepers at this level. And I think we had to come up with something to combat that. And boy, did Charlie Cooper ever come up with something to combat it. I thought that was a brilliant, intelligent use of the space that opened up for him. I thought that he picked the perfect time to strike, both in terms of the game clock and that run of play. What a hit, son! What a hit!
A few people were saying, "Oh, it was a foul on Weeks before," but it wasn't. Weeks came in. And he just took a dive. They took a lot of dives yesterday, Chester. A lot of dark arts. In fact, I've just sent a message to the official Twitter account on X and just said, listen, you had so many head injuries yesterday. I hope you guys are okay. And you made it all right. And you're looking forward to the rest of the season because that could really derail you. It was pathetic.
I'm sure they'll love that.
Yeah. Nick, how was your thoughts on yesterday?
Yeah, it wasn't a tactical leaving of the room, by the way, when an island was mentioned. That was just coincidental. But yeah, no. In terms of yesterday, I don't know. I thought it was really frustrating, wasn't it? Like that's the overriding emotion from yesterday. More so out of the level of dark arts. Like forget the fact you're a Harriers fan or you're a Chester fan or whatever. Like it was just a sad sort of afternoon for football where we're in this world now where any law that's brought into the game, for better or worse, is just abused to the point where the game is almost spoilt because of it. And ultimately, I know it's a professional game, and you're watching a professional game of football at a decent level, but it's almost like as football got to that stage now where there's so much sort of riding on it that we have to create dark arts for every every game. I'll be honest, I thought it was disgraceful in the main from Chester yesterday, and I think their manager should be embarrassed of how his players and himself behaved in terms of that game plan. Yes, there's game management, there's a bit of time wasting, but making out like you've got a head injury where there's been players in the past that have genuinely had head injuries that have caused, serious and significant injuries.
Yeah.
To be feigning that in games, I doesn't sit well with me. And I think the powers that be need to have a look at alternatives for head injuries. And ultimately, whilst I was really frustrated with the referee and the linesman, it wasn't necessarily purely related to that, because ultimately the referee has to make the call. If a player goes down with a head injury, the referee has to stop the game. Like, that's the rules. You can't make out it's being feigned, because sometimes it's genuine, and that's the problem with it and the behaviour. It was despicable. However, I am getting sick to the back teeth of the lines person, the officials, taking absolutely no responsibility in games. And that's one of either two things: their own decision making, they choose not to make the decisions and let the ref manage the game on his own, or the ref decides before the game that he's managing the game on his own. Either way, both nonsensical and both infuriating, when continuously there are obvious mistakes, obvious arms round necks. It's just unbelievable that the linesman can't see some of the things that were going on yesterday. So that was a big frustration. I thought it was a sad day for the game yesterday. In terms of how we played, I think Charlie Cooper's goal is the goal of the season. One of the best goals I've ever seen at Agborough. Fully had me off my seat. I thought the defence, I thought Obi, Bird and Dibble in the main were fantastic yesterday. And I thought KD, whilst he still looked super sharp, I found it a bit strange that we were pinging balls up to him, expecting him to continuously win it and hold it. And Pierce Bird's got the best diag since Keith Lowe and Geraldo Badrami.
Diag, I love it.
But I looked at it and thought, we're like an average playoff sort of side, top 7 side yesterday. I didn't think we were gleaming, but then obviously there's talks about the pitch as well, which potentially didn't help us. But I'm sure we'll cover that off. I thought it was a 6.5 sort of performance in the Harriers yesterday, personally.
6.5, got a point though. I mean,
yeah,
I didn't come away from the game feeling annoyed that we got a point. I was annoyed anyway, but not that we got a point. I mean,
I thought it was a fair score, to be honest.
Yeah.
I thought it was a fair result.
You shaded a little bit. Dan, as formerly one of the head honchos of the NHS before you went to Miami and lived the dream life now, how much would 3 games in a row take it out of you as a professional footballer, do you think?
Yeah, it's going to beat you up. There's no two ways about it. These are fit guys. We're a full-time squad. The lads work hard in training. But that you look at that they talk a lot in the interviews with Adam Murray about the fixtures and the fact that they're coming in thick and fast. This is where you do need your depth in the squad. We do have, we've got quite a young squad, but there are obviously lads in the team that are sort of 30 plus. It beats you up. There's no two ways about it. And these guys on a Saturday and a Tuesday are giving everything. It isn't a case of just running around the park for 90 minutes. They are throwing themselves into everything. I want to make a point on the lino if I can. They are actually linked to the referee via their headsets. And I do wonder if there's more discussion than we know going on about those decisions, whether the referee is giving the decision over the headset, and so the linesman isn't, or the lines person or referee's assistant isn't putting the flag up. But I've got frustrated many a time this season where it just appears like they're almost
not in the
like,
game.
What's the
They're
point
not in
of
the game.
being there? But I think there is communication going on. We're just not aware of it. That's the only sort of solace I can see with that. But ultimately,
was it just confirming what time the Chester bus was leaving after the game?
Yeah,
maybe.
Just make sure they were on it. I don't want this to be an excuse at all, but I think the officiating this season has been terrible. I think we've had, you can probably count on one hand the number of referees where we've come away from a game and gone, that was a good refereeing performance. I think that the mistakes, the inconsistency, it's something that, in my opinion, the league needs to look at. And the thing is I've always been a defender of referees, because you don't have a game without a referee, and they're important and you need them there. But when their decisions start impacting the outcome of games, then I think questions do need to be asked. And I think the National League in particular needs to be sort of looking at their referees and maybe need to be thinking about the standard. It'd be interesting to know from Adam Murray if he's ever heard back from any of those reports he's put in, and kind of what's been said about those. But that's my opinion on that. But I think back to your original point, Wes, it is going to take it out of the team. I think we're lucky that we do have some depth, but as we've been saying, I think we're maybe a couple of players short, especially in those really heavy positions as well, your centre backs and your centre midfields. I think that's where the depth in the squad's really needed. So it's going to be tough to the end of the season now. It's going to be really hard.
Could be amazing. Thanks, Dan. I completely forgot that we're live and people are commenting. I've completely forgot about that. So evening, Phil Banner. Evening, Paul Curtis. Phil saying fresh trims for Dan and Nick. Oh, and me as well. I shaved the size of my head off because I'm not paying any barber fees this year because I've got other stuff to pay for. Hey, Paul. Paul says, "Hi, where's you back on the big screen?" Yes, yes, Paul. Now, if this is Paul I was speaking to, he said that his wife just is like, no, she's having the TV to watch, I don't know, whatever's on, Country File or what. No, that's 7:00 in here. My mum watches that, not me.
Call the midwife at this time.
Yeah, call the possibly call the midwife. And he was saying that he just wanted to watch. I was like, listen, love, can you not just let him watch it just one time? So yeah, so hopefully, fingers crossed, we're back on the big screen. Love that. Thank you. If you could, that'd be brilliant. Shocking Official says the Agbra anarchist got me quite angry. I mean, yeah, did you? Weeks was the worst cheater of the lot. I spoke to him after the game, actually. I was like, why can't we ever beat your bloody team? He's just laughing. I was like, all right, mate, calm down. Okay, so what else we got? KHFC TV, good evening to you. Oh, Dr. Stevens in the house. Good evening. Their keeper kept them in the game. Well said, Nick, says the anarchist. Hi all. Oh, this is from Gary, who I spent a bit of time with yesterday, actually. Gary says, hi all. Nick, I know you were not at the leisure centre, but we found after our game 2 Leisure League vests and a black top. I assume that was from your group. I will bring them next week. Is that your?
I don't know. I mean, I was actually at the leisure centre this morning, but I only played the earlier game, so it could be. Although I don't think any of the lads play in the Leisure League, so I'm not sure on that one. To be fair, but no, I was there this morning, but I wasn't there for the 9:30 game, so not sure.
Noel saying, listen to the Chester manager's interview, and no mention of the head injuries, obviously. And the funniest bit, thought they deserved all 3 points. To be fair, there was a moment, and I don't know if you're like me, squeaky bum time, when it was the 95th minute. John, you might have been the same. 95th minute, and they got a corner in front of their away fans, and I was like, God, don't, no, don't. I thought it was going to be 2-1, to be honest, but it wasn't so much. Dominic saying, thought Bird was top class. Right, okay. So yesterday, I don't know if yesterday we saw Pierce Bird's throws, which are amazing, but also a bit pointless because we didn't get on the end of any of them. So what are we doing with that, John? What's the secret there, mate?
Well, yeah, I think that the long throws are really useful weapon this season more than it has been any before for teams all around the league. And I think the more that we work on that, the more that he's able to deliver those in those positions, the more we will get on the end of them. I think that what was really good again yesterday, Obi given license to move forward, and how comfortable Pierce Bird was as that lone centre half in those situations where the ball did come back and he was under pressure. I thought he was very calm receiving the ball, and he made a good decision with his distribution on quite a few occasions. The long throw is another weapon, but you know, if 10 go in, we might get on the end of one and it finds the back of the net. It can't be our only outlet, which I don't think it is. And I think yesterday we had to change the game plan because we were so intent on that delivery into the box, which has worked so well for us. And like I said, their keeper claiming everything was meant that we had to change it up and play through the middle of the park more. I was actually surprised not to see Clark come on at half time. I did think that might be the move that Adam Murray would make, but I think the team that started it and the team that ended the game was the right decisions from us. Mainly, Wes, because you made a point as well. When they had a corner in the 95th minute, we conceded in the Radcliffe game 4 goals from corners, and then Macclesfield and I've forgotten the other one where we did concede in the very last minute from corners, and I think we've ironed that out. We're staying switched on until the 95th, 98th minute, whatever it is, 112th with some refs, and I think there's something to be said for that from a mentality point of view. Yeah. I think I was looking back at the away fixture, which I went to Chester away, and the result was the same. It was 1-1 in both games. However, if you look at the two squads, not just in terms of the personnel that we've got on the pitch, but also the way in which we're playing, our mentality, our togetherness, and our drive, it's night and day. And I think there's so much more confidence in this squad now. I think with Owen Evans, with Piers Bird coming back in, with obviously Kieran Donnelly, and what he's added to the squad, I think there's so much more confidence in the team putting in a strong performance now, and that was really, really encouraging. I certainly didn't feel deflated or defeated that it was 1-1. I think we're, as we said, it's a point closer to third. Basically, and that I think is fantastic. Like I've said all along, solidifying playoffs is the number one goal, but now we're really starting to look up rather than down. And I think all the lads need to take credit for that. And I think hearing Adam Murray's name being chanted more and more, I think fans are starting to come round to the impact that he's having on the team.
I think as well, it's important to recognise that Chester are a team on the ascendancy, and when you look at the last few games they've been playing, they've been exceptional, and we've disrupted that. And it is a home game, and we expect to take points from our home games, but ultimately they were a team full of confidence, and we've disrupted that. So I'm happy with the 1-1. Listening on the radio was quite tough. Our man from Hereford and Worcester, again, very negative, and he was sort of calling it 2 points dropped. But I see that as exactly that, John. That we're now level on points with Merthyr. It's another game to an unbeaten run. The team's full of confidence, so I think that's a very good point that we've taken yesterday.
So we got 5 games. Is it 5 away games in a row now?
Yeah, something like that.
I was going to work out how many miles they're going to do, but it's going to be thousands because they're going to spend more. They're going to Darlington. Yeah, they're flying there down. They're getting a private plane and stuff, that kind of thing. To be fair, Bird faked a head injury and dodged a yellow card in the game. Now, I remember that, Andy. And when he went down, the Chester guy caught him in the face. So yeah, was it? I don't think so. I'm not sure. But anyway, yeah, he escaped the yellow card. That was really early on in the game, though, wasn't it?
I tell you, he should have taken a yellow card yesterday. David Davis.
Absolutely.
Not sure why he doesn't do what he always does and just foul somebody. Just if he clips that Shrimpton, who by the way has scored something like 7 and 8 or 8 and 9 from midfield, by the way. So he's going to be on radars if he continues at that rate. It was a good strike from the lad yesterday, but I couldn't believe that Davis didn't just clip him, take the yellow. I was just expecting it to happen because that's part of what he brings and what he offers from an experience point of view. But I thought he was a bit off it yesterday. Didn't make that decision. So obviously then a good strike. And I said this in the group chat yesterday. I thought, I've been saying this for a while, but Davis and Cooper so similar. I really felt it was. I really thought it was a game for Kando. thought he was really, really unlucky to not play. I think he's a player that stitches the game together for us, keeps the ball, keeps it simple, smooth kind of player. And I genuinely couldn't believe it. He wasn't in the starting 11 yesterday. And having watched the game, I think we would have been better for having him in there personally. Again, I'm not sure, if you're playing against a really physical side, maybe Cooper and Davis both needed, plus Riley Reynolds. But Chester aren't exactly renowned for being horrible and physical. And, I know they defended in low blocks yesterday, according to both managers. Too technical for me, but I thought Cam was excellent on Tuesday, and I thought he gets the ball down. And when you talk about the pitch not being particularly good, I understand the player that's technical. It's just as difficult for them to control it as anyone. But I think Cam Candola should have started the game yesterday, personally.
Question: do you reckon Adam Murray, because he's all about the stats and he's all about this and that, do you reckon he plans for a team that starts the game and a team that will end the game? What's your thoughts on that?
No, I don't think so. I think that that's that one answered. No, I think that he reacts to what's happening in the game and what's needed. I think he will change things up if he feels that they're needed, or he'll persevere with something if he thinks that there's signs. Encouraging signs, as Jason Cundy would say, that there's signs that it will pay dividends. I don't think he has a plan to end the game with a certain team. I think he just responds to what's happening in the game. I think there's a couple of things about the individual performances. Pierce Bird, okay, yeah, I totally get the point that he stood off for the goal. And also with the point about Davis not taking the yellow, yeah, I agree. Both of those happen. I wonder, and I'm certainly not one for ever blaming refs, but I wonder if there was a bit of hesitation because of the way that the ref was officiating the game, and maybe a bit of hesitation to jump in, thinking, well, I could end up on a yellow here or worse. And I think that does have an impact sometimes. I don't know if that's just me, but we've got to play our game and play to our strengths, and not let the refs, whatever their quality may be, have an impact on that. Yeah,
he's not getting sent unless he 2-foots him knee high. He's not getting sent off for a clip of the heels. He's getting a yellow. And if you look at, not sure, I can't remember now whether it was Tuesday, or was it yesterday, when Devine is away and the guy just wipes him out, gets a yellow, and takes it. I think it might have been yesterday, could have been Tuesday.
It was yesterday, yeah.
It was yesterday. Just wipes him out. Ref's never going to send him off for that. But
no.
And it's the same for David. If you think about where the guy picks the ball up, it's kind of edge of the centre circle. He's not last man or... So I genuinely was just surprised that he didn't do it, mainly because of who it was. Do you know what I mean? Like that's he does that all the time. He gets a yellow card, makes fouls pretty much every single game. So I just thought I was waiting for it, and then he didn't do it, and then he scored. It was like, oh god.
Do we know
you can only do it once?
Sorry, John.
No, sorry, Dan. You go.
I was just asking. Do we know the number of yellow cards he's on? Is he close to a suspension? Is that in the back of his mind?
I know what you're going to say, John, about you can only make those kind of tactical fouls once. It was the 75th minute, though.
Yeah. I do get what you're saying. I think you may have to make those on pitch decisions, don't you? And you choose whether that's your one. Yeah. You get one free hit game to take a player out, and okay, it was the wrong decision. But if he'd have ended up on a yellow and not able to do that in the 90th minute, when we were still, say we were 1-0 up at that point, we would have been saying the opposite and saying, why did he lunge in earlier?
All I would say, perception. Zach Brown does that last season. Everyone's up in arms.
Well, yeah.
I was generally bananas, but I was Zach Brown all the time anyway. So KHFC TV says, talk of Riley, thoughts on him being recalled to county.
What is this, by the way? I've just seen that.
I have no idea. Then loaned to
what?
Yeovil this week. Viewed as them signing him next season. What?
I haven't heard anything about that. If that is the case, I'd be gutted. I would be incredibly surprised. I don't think that he would want that to be the case. I think that he'd probably talk to County himself and ask for that not to be the case. I think he's very, very happy at Harriers with the setup there. I think he'd want to see out the season and potentially be part of a playoff winning squad. So I'd be shocked, but we'll see.
Hang on a minute.
This Liam one is brilliant.
Evening, Liam. Thank you, Liam. No idea why this has come from my algorithm, as I'm a United fan. Which
you wouldn't
United
find games in a row yet, Liam.
Newcastle, Manchester United. Is it Scunthorpe United? Yes. Which United is it, buddy? Come on, let us know. Assume all 40 City fans are in it. Actually, there might be a Macclesfield fan in here. Could be a Mansfield. I don't know.
Might even have some Merthyr fans in here. You never know.
Yeah, probably won't. But yeah, it's possible. You're in deep shit anyway. Well, there you go. There you absolutely go. Rob, questions. I wrote some questions out. I really did. Right. Okay. Massive news. You'll love this. Massive news from the Donnelly household, who I spoke to last night, and at the game yesterday, I spoke to him after. I said, "Oh, it's Wes from Kidderminster Harriers fans podcast." He says, "I know you are." I was like, "Really?" He went, "Yeah, my dad watches."
That's great.
So
hello, Mr. Donnelly.
Good evening, Mr. Donnelly Senior. Good evening. So that was cool. And also, it's been really weird. Adam Murray, like one of my tweets I put out because I was slagging the ref off, and he just was like, I love.
Maybe he's been hacked.
Mate, which one? Well, Adam.
Someone set up a fake account and just.
I like the fact that that's more likely than him actually liking one of our
the podcast. Yes, no, I get it. Evening Mario, by the way. Evening Mario.
Yeah.
Is Nick Hatton still here? Nick, I've got a question, and I would love your answer on it because you're the actually Nick's doing comms at Chorley on Tuesday night, I believe, if that's the case. Nick, I'd love to get your thoughts on this one. So, by the way, I never want to hear the phrase "in the postage stamp" ever again on a BBC radio station. What does "in the postage stamp" even mean? He's not a cockney, Chris Williams. It makes no sense. What does "in the postage stamp" mean?
It's literally like the top corner, like the very literally the postage stamp size area
size
of
a postage
stamp.
Perfect.
Well,
Otherwise,
you
referred
just
to as
say,
top bin.
"It's in the top corner." Right, as Nick replied, I bet he hasn't, but he's too busy. Man United, I can say it with a bit of confidence, as we are third in the Prem. Oh, mate, you've been shit for
Let's
years.
not get into this.
We don't talk about Premier League teams on here, pal.
Yeah, absolutely.
But listen, mate, you can talk about teams that are quite close to Manchester, and you've got quite a few, I believe. What are the teams in our league close to Manchester?
Well, we've got one on Tuesday, fairly close to Manchester, Chorley.
Chorley FM.
That's fairly close.
So Liam, if you can do some scout mission for us, mate, that'd be amazing. Thank you.
Liam, it'd be good to have you here next week as well. Stay tuned in, mate. Stay tuned in.
Yeah, we don't refuse anyone unless they're a knob. I did ban someone the other day for slagging me right off, a bit uncalled for.
What, you personally?
Yeah, he was having a go at me. I can't remember what it was for, but it was just I didn't like it very much, John. So I made an example.
Obviously doesn't know that you're good at karate.
He was taking the mick out your shirt.
He was saying, "Oh yeah." Oh, by the way, Shrimpton and. Was it Shrimpton with the really, really shit hair? And I'm talking like a perm with shaved sides. Was that Shrimpton or was that his mate? Because anyway, they were both in the arms. They came out with 4 pints, got on the bus.
Respect.
I love that, though. John, that's what's missing, right?
Maybe it'll help with their head injuries. Help clear the head.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Couple of naproxen and a pint will make it an easy journey home.
Wow. Yeah. Now is that tried and tested, John? Do you think?
I'm sure that's helped me a couple of times. Whereas with the old bad back.
Oh, I love that. Phil Banner says, with regards to last week's podcast, Wes, did you pass a message on to the club about Sam's banning order? Do you remember this? About Sam who came on and said, "Can you have a word with the club and try and get me unbanned?" probably
did make me laugh.
to Richard Lane. That was so funny. Oh my
Mm.
god, that's so. Yeah, no, I didn't. I did see Richard Lane yesterday actually, but yeah, he was just with his missus, just trying to escape, so that was fine. So there you go. Right, I'm getting more questions. Yeah, done with that.
Can I just drop a question in whilst you're looking?
Are you in this mode, Dan? Are you this mode right
I can be.
Okay, fine. Yeah. Absolutely. Back on.
Just talking about the head injuries. I mean, I was sort of sat here thinking, how do we as a league combat this? Because I totally in agreement with you, Nick, that dark arts and that whole concept of, well, if I go down clutching my head, the ref has to stop it. If I do that whilst the opposition are attacking, I totally see why they're doing that. But how do we combat that? Is it, you go down with a head injury, you have to have a 2-minute concussion assessment off the pitch, perhaps something like that. I don't know,
Absolutely.
but
it's got to be something. But whatever it is, whatever comes in, it's like teams just abuse it, whatever it is, including us, I guess, at times. But yeah, there's got to be some kind of consequence, because unfortunately, it's got to a stage where it's just being exploited.
Yeah,
and exploited. But actually, like I said at the top of the show, it's in there to protect players, and there have been players that have had terrible head injuries. We've seen that. So I get the premise of it and why it's there, but yeah, unfortunately, just like anything, people are just looking for loopholes and a competitive edge. So something will need to be done. But ultimately, I guess it starts at the very top, doesn't it? These kind of rules and regulations, and finds its way down. So I guess we'll see what they do. But it's becoming more and more of a thing. But Saturday at Chester yesterday was the worst I've seen it. Players were just going down anytime the ball was kind of in the box, just knowing that that phase of play is then gone. And although the ref did try to give us the ball back in a relatively forward-thinking position, they're able to fully reset, which still isn't perfect, but I guess it's the lesser of the two evils, and they decided to go down that route. Either way, as a paying punter, it's just boring to watch and just really frustrating.
Yeah, Phil Brown was the master of dark arts, right? Or have I got this all wrong? I'm sure he was the master of dark arts. Someone back me up on that.
So, with the Phil Brown era, every single game, Dibble went down with cramp, and that was at least once every single game. And in fairness, a lot of Harriers fans didn't like that. It actually worked very, very much in our favour, worked very well for us. I think there's a difference between that happening once a game, twice a game at a maximum, and the number of faked head injuries that we had yesterday. I think if it was once, maybe even twice, I don't think we'd be having this conversation, but I think there was, 4 or 5 at least. That weren't even.
It as well. It was blatant as well.
Oh yeah. It was embarrassing because they weren't even close to contact with their head, and then they'd be clutching their head, and then when the physio came on and he was stood up before the physio had even reached him, and then he went off very briefly. The speed at which he came back onto the pitch, I forget which player it was who went down in our box, but the speed at which he was allowed back onto the pitch, I thought was terrible.
Interestingly, Gary Neville actually doesn't like the fact they have to come off the pitch. You've seen that when in Premier League games, he actually says he actually doesn't like the fact the players have to go off for 30 seconds minimum. So he's actually like almost the opposite, but maybe in the Prem there's less abuse of it potentially. I don't watch loads and loads of Premier League football. I watch a decent amount, and it's obviously a very different product to what we watch on a Saturday afternoon. But yeah, I've seen him almost sort of call that they shouldn't have to go off for a head injury. I'm sure he's been saying that. So I don't know. Everyone's got their opinion on it.
I'm in total disagreement of that. I think ultimately head injuries they're difficult things, and that's where the problem is here, that if a player genuinely has a head injury, you can have a delayed onset, that delayed onset can be days later. So it's a bit of a stretch for a connection. But ultimately, you can have players who will get a nasty bang on the head, get up, start running, and that running motion can actually increase the level of damage that can be caused. There was an interesting incident in the NHL hockey. I do watch a bit of ice hockey. The Maple Leafs goalkeeper took a puck straight on the head, and he shook his head as his helmet sort of came loose. He shook his head, and then he collapsed. And they said, and it was a delayed collapse, I should say. It was almost like 5 minutes later he collapsed on the ice. And they said that there was a lot of assessment on it, and they said that shaking of the head after you've had a bang on the head is firstly a really it's like an indicator that there is concussion if somebody shakes their head, and secondly, it can then increase the level of damage that's been done. Certainly, if there's micro tears or something like that, shaking the head can be a serious thing. So to have a player who gets a bang on the head, then just carry on running up the sideline is a very dangerous thing. And it's important that if somebody does have a genuine head injury, they are taken off the pitch and assessed properly. So
I think that's why this feels and hits different, I think, to what at the time when we were doing the dark arts with Dibble and Phil Brown, that has always been kind of a standard thing over the last sort of couple of seasons, rightly or wrongly. Look, ultimately, if you don't like time wasting, you don't like that. Ultimately, as a fan, you want to go and watch 90 minutes of the ball being in play. We all know that's not necessarily the case. I think that's the thing that frustrates me more with the head injury, though, because you can very simply add on the minutes for Dibble or any goalkeeper, just sort of wasting time. It's also not it might disrupt flow, but it's not disrupting the game live as it's being played out, because it's a goal kick. Typically when that's happening, the game is stopped anyway, whereas in these scenarios like yesterday, the game cannot physically continue. So we were on the counter attack yesterday, the guy goes down, ref has to call for a stoppage. So I do think that whilst time wasting is all in one box, the frustrating part for me was those particular ones, head injuries over goalkeepers wasting time, which has happened for ages, is that it's actually in the flow of the game.
And obviously head injuries are serious things. We don't want anyone to, whether it's our team or opposition, we don't want anyone to end up in any kind of serious medical bother. However, yesterday they weren't genuine head injuries. It was the centre half who cried wolf, and that is what's going to make it so difficult for referees to establish what is a genuine head injury and what is just time wasting.
And that's the frustrating thing, is the ref, as annoying as the ref and the lino were yesterday, my frustration with them wasn't about necessarily that, because they can't not call it. Because if they don't, and one of them is actually injured one time,
there's serious consequences. The only other thing we can have is an MRI scanner at the side of the pitch, and every player who goes down just gets popped in the MRI scanner. He's fine. He can carry on. So it's impossible. It's impossible.
It's definitely a difficult one.
We're not going to solve this tonight, okay?
No.
So I just want to move it on, guys. I want to move it on.
Can we talk Peterborough? Actually, do you know what? I'm just going to say Pepsi Max Tropical, if you haven't tried it, is a game changer.
Is it the one?
Not sponsored.
Available.
No, can't.
Are we going to chat Peterborough sports?
No, we are in 1 second, John. But this guy
Sorry, mate.
Yesterday, and he didn't leave. He was on the left wing. This little pigeon on the left wing, eating all of the seeds or whatever he was doing, and he didn't. Even when it looked like he was going to be mowed over by a load of Chester players, he didn't go. He just sat there. He was like, "Whatever, I'm bothered about this." I kind of thought, is there a way we can just get that kind of, you won't beat me style into the team? I don't know, but it made me laugh.
There's got to be some kind of Pierce Bird joke in here somewhere.
We'll call him Pierce. So that was Pierce, yeah, absolutely.
Pierce the pigeon, absolutely.
I was thinking about that for ages. Yeah, I couldn't come up with a name for him, but there you go. Pierce, that'd be lovely stuff. Actually, Dr. Stephen has made a good point there. AMS has had a 6 weeks out, didn't he? But he was also knocked unconscious, so that
and he was actually injured.
Yeah. Actual proper injury. Let's go to Peterborough Sport then. John, Tuesday night, Phil Brown came to town and he left with his tail between his legs. What happened, John?
Well, I mean, it wasn't really Phil Brown. It was, I was saying I didn't want it to be the Phil Brown show, and it wasn't. It was Gash, and I think really he was Gash, but no, he messed up. He messed up. I think he's letting ego get the better of him. That he's still playing. I thought he was really poor in terms of his own performance and his leadership and decision making on the pitch. I don't know if he played yesterday, but I was really pleased that he was so intent on playing himself and playing the way that he did, because they were really quite an easy proposition for us, I thought.
Yeah.
How old is he now? Like 50 something? Or
I think he's still younger than all of us on this call, but he's still in football.
Cool, John.
All right,
so
all right,
John is so cool.
But in terms of football, I think that he's probably done. 40 years old, I think.
I'm younger than that, John. So both in our 30s. So
just chewing the fat. So I think that we benefited from that, because he was poor, and the team were being led by example from him, and I thought that I was actually just shocked by how bad his leadership on the pitch was as well. And I loved it when he played for us. I thought that he was someone who left everything on the pitch. Maybe that's the problem. He's left it all at Agbra. But I think we really benefited from the Phil Brown sacking the few days before, and I'm glad that it wasn't the Adam Murray versus Phil Brown, Rocky V story or something like that. I'm just glad that we went out, we played our game. Really, really professional performance. Didn't drop the energy levels, and I think we talk a lot about being ruthless. I thought we were ruthless on Tuesday night, all over the pitch.
Levels above on the night. We were levels above them.
We've had a new. I don't think I've seen this name before. Pancake Pal. I do love pancakes, mine. Anyone see one of Chester's players' mums was in the East Stand MILF maybe, and then started mouthing off at some of our fans because he gave us some beans for them getting a draw. I'm not sure what any of that means.
I was in the East Stand yesterday, but no.
She didn't come and approach you, Nick. I thought that all the MILFs.
All the housewives normally speak to you, don't they, Nick?
Not Chester ones, I wouldn't imagine.
You wouldn't understand them anyway with that accent.
Yeah, no, different kind of atmosphere. Right. I forgot what I put in here. Let's just have a look, see what this is. So these are our matches on the way. Okay, these are matches on the way. So our next home game is April the 3rd. That's Easter, right?
Yeah.
And that looks like a very different game now, doesn't it? The way that Hereford are playing at the moment, taking 3 points off South Shields, that looks like a very different game.
What a result!
Yeah.
They're tough games. Let's face that's a tough run. For different.
So
for
Chorley,
different reasons.
Radcliffe, Darlow. I'll be at Darlow. Oxford. I'll be at Oxford. John be at Oxford, I believe. Dan, you've got to be at Oxford, surely, mate.
Yeah, it's all it is resting on is what my shifts look like that week. I may have to work the Saturday, but I'll make sure I get some cover for the game. So Dan, I'll definitely be there.
Dan, have you thought about faking a head injury just to the time off, and then you can go to the game?
Yeah, I normally go with the shits, but yeah, maybe a head injury is a good way forward.
That's a tough run, and it's I look at that, and the first thing I think is mileage. There's a lot of travel there, but hopefully what will benefit us is being a full-time team, and we're not having to jump on the bus after a half day at work or anything like that. We've got that that stretch now of games, which is going to be a really, really tough run in. But this is usually when full-time teams rise to be the cream of the crop, because the tiredness sets in, the fatigue, the longer days for people at work. So
Q5 straight defeats
Yeah. So hopefully that will show. But yeah, Darlow, Spennymoor, Oxford, all within the space of 10 days is a long old run.
We're going to be up and down that motorway at 70 miles an hour plus.
70 miles an hour tops.
Yeah. But it's certainly going to be difficult in terms of Darlington on the Tuesday, more local than on the Saturday, but then the following Tuesday away at Spennymoor. I mean, like I said, I think each game represents a different kind of challenge for sort of different reasons. Surely off the back of the first batch of Tuesday, Saturdays, etc. Radcliffe away, I guess, to go and face into the Demons. That was that 5-1 horror show away at Agborough. Darlington, and ridiculously long journey on a Tuesday, probably a stay over potentially, if not a really late one back. Oxford, the Hemo effect. He's going to want to try and turn up, and will he have got them going? And then following that, another massively long journey to Spennymoor, followed by a local derby. So there's quite a lot of different elements in there, and I guess hopefully Adam and the team are sort of managing all of them as best as possible. But I think the players and the management will especially be keen to get one over on Radcliffe. I'd take a draw against Chorley on Tuesday night. I think it's never an easy place to go, and our record there is abysmal. So 4 points from the next two would be good. But again, Radcliffe are a bit of a mystery team at the moment. Sometimes they're good, sometimes they're not. And there's been a report out today about their financial situation, something like a circa 800 grand loss. Manager's gone. Anthony Johnson's left, hasn't he? So let's hope we catch them at the right time.
So that's what you're talking about just there. I was going to leave that to the end, but Radcliffe FC in the 6th tier of English football in National League North lost £807,000 last year. That's 15.5 grand a week. It was £674,000 in the previous season. A club is trading due to increased borrowings as long-term debts exceed 2.1 million. How is that even sustainable?
Do you know what? Like, I've said this a few times on this podcast, and it's the thing I guess that scares me the most about being at this level is the financial side of football at this level is so tough. And we sit here and we harp on about we need this player, we need that player, and the budget's this, budget's that, but we have to be so thankful that our club is currently in a prosperous position, because you imagine being a Radcliffe fan right now and seeing that must literally, your arse is going to fall out. It's an awful thing to look at, and it's scary. And this is what I've always said about these kind of Premier League and EFL teams. They don't have this worry, and non-league football survives on the fans and survives on the sponsorship. And you know what? I'm thankful we're in the position we're in, because I'd hate to be looking at our finances like this.
Dan, what I will say, an NHS. Hang on. Is there an NHS term for your arse falling out, mate? Just checking.
There is. Yeah, it's called a rectal prolapse.
I think that's what we had at Southport last season, wasn't it?
We all did.
Indeed.
What I will say on the Radcliffe situation is 6-figure losses at this level are probably more commonplace than you think. And that borrowing, a lot of that borrowing will be from sources within the club. And the reason that it's put down as borrowing is in case anything goes wrong and they decide to pull that money back out, which very, very, very rarely happens, but it obviously can. I think that I don't think the situation's probably as dire as that balance sheet makes out. But again, to echo Dan's point, I think we're in a really good, sustainable situation now, which hasn't been the case for the majority of the 2000s, 2010s. So, definitely thankful for that.
Just had a message there from Reese. He says, "Hello, Wesley. Presuming you remember me, the Hereford fan from TikTok. No. And thinking we'd go down. The Hereford staying up, don't you know, pump it up. The Kiddie staying down, don't you know, pump it up. Okay, fine. Cheers, Reese.
Down and up, Brian, now today.
Thanks for tuning in, Reese.
Yeah. Cheers for tuning in, mate. Listen, anyone can tune in. It's fine. Let's have any more comments. Gerard says he would take 2 wins and 2 draws from the 5 away games.
I think everybody would. To be fair, that'd be
totally
a pretty decent return on the road.
Liam, Liam, the Man United fan. He says, "Got to jump, stay for the good vibes." Yay! Good luck with the channel, lads. Up
Nice
the
one, Liam.
Harriers. Thank you, my friend.
You know
Thank
he's going to be looking out for the Harriers on Saturday now. He's going to, whether he likes it or not, he's going to be looking through them results and he's going to go, I wonder what kid he did this
We're
weekend.
in his head.
Yeah.
In his head. Kitty. There you go. So, hang on. Let's go back to that, actually. Let's go back to those games. Where was it? Was it that one? Was it that one? Yeah. Which one's the toughest, do you think? Personally, do you think which one's the toughest?
I think they're all challenges for the reasons that Nick highlighted. They all represent different challenges. Yeah. I think probably, depending on the points total when we get there, probably Hereford. I think the Hereford games are always huge for us. And I think Radcliffe as well for just expelling those demons of the 5-1. And Darlington and Spenny are going to just depend on how we are when we get there in terms of energy, fatigues, any injuries in the squad. Which ones of those are 4G? Oxford is.
Oxford is, yeah.
Is Oxford the only one? Radcliffe? What about Radcliffe?
Radcliffe. I think Radcliffe's 4G, isn't it?
Radcliffe's 4G, I think.
It's a horrible pitch, the Radcliffe one, if I remember right.
I have been there, I can't remember.
That was a bad night for you, John, I think. Was that the bad night?
Marine was the bad night. Radcliffe was all right. We won 4-0 there last season. I remember that. I just can't remember what the pitch was.
Oh, I love that. I love that. Right, okay, so that's that. Let's have a look at the table. So here we go. This is what we've got so far. Fylde won a game, which is nice. South Shields didn't. Oh, it's topsy-turvy.
Tight at the top.
It is tight at the top. Merthyr. See, we got 3 games in hand.
Radcliffe is a grass pitch.
It is a grass pitch. Okay, that's good.
Yeah, thanks, Nick. Man, we've got to get some more points on the board.
So, question.
Go on.
Yes,
John.
Yes, John Smith.
Just a very much a theoretical at this stage. Would you rather play South Shields or Fylde in a playoff final?
Oh,
South Shields.
I'd say South Shield.
Where would it be, John? I'm guessing away, based on
it would be away. I think Fylde as well. Even though I think South Shields are probably the nicer team to play against, I just think in terms of the amount of fans that we would take, the atmosphere that we could create, I think it'd probably be almost a bit like a home game for us at Fylde. Yeah, and that's what I think might just get us across the line.
Yeah, I think similar. It's not quite as far. I don't know. I just feel like that there'd be a lot on that game from a personal perspective as well. Murray, Obi, Bird, etc. There's just something in that game for me that I'd fancy it more. I'd look forward to that more as a contest, regardless of the outcome in a way. So yeah, I'd go with Fylde.
I always struggle with Fylde. I just think we never do well there. I think for me, I feel like I would rather play South Shields.
We didn't do very well at Brackley though. In fact, we had an abysmal record against Brackley away.
True.
And then I turned up to that game and I had really low expectations because our record there was so bad. I think we'd won 1 game there in their entire division, and that was during the COVID times. So I think we beat them. That's the only victory we've had outside of the playoff final win. I think we've beaten Fylde once on a penalty shootout. So yeah, I get it.
We beat Fylde in December, 1-0.
We did, yeah, you're right.
Do you remember that, Nick?
It is true, yeah.
December 23rd, I think it was.
That was at home though. What about away?
Oh, well, no idea.
We have away. We beat them 1-1.
We beat them. We beat them the year we went up. We beat them 2-0 at their place.
Yeah. Yes. We beat them on that run, didn't we? On the way to
that was the start of the run. That was the first of the nine wins in a row.
Love that. Andy just put a really good comment up there. Merthyr to fall out of the top 7.
I think
possible.
I think it's definitely possible.
I don't think so.
But someone's going to fall out, John. Someone's going to fall out. It's not going to end like that with the same as it is right now. I wouldn't have thought. So, Scarborough possibly. The only thing, just Bridlington is an awful pitch to play on. They seem to be doing pretty good again now, Scarborough. So, we'll see. We'll see, defo. Different notes. Given our lack of goal scoring this year, we've done well to get to the plus 16 goal difference, higher than the $3.
I was literally just thinking that.
That's mental, actually.
Yeah, it's called a ridiculously good defense. Didn't the interviewer say it was something like the 17th clean
sheets this season?
I mean, it's
ridiculous.
When?
Huge.
When did he say that?
At the end, the interview with Adam after
Peter
the game.
I'm going to say, because yesterday was 1-1.
Yeah.
Peter Sports. Yeah, that would make sense.
Oh, yeah.
AJ Mantle, hey mate, evening. We said the same about Southport last year, though. Make it into a home game, and look how that ended. South Shields will be my choice, or one of the 4th, 5th, 6th, or 7th at Agborough.
That's the dream.
I
think we've got much more chance of making Fylde like a home game, though. I mean, if you go to Fylde, most weeks there where we've been, there's half a dozen fans and more atmosphere on the Moon. I think we'd absolutely create a real atmosphere there, and it would be like a home game. I think that I know Mark Stones has said, let's worry about the semi-final first. I think we're fairly confident if that it's going to be obviously a home semi-final. There's we could even have an eliminator, but I think we're fairly confident we'd have a home semi-final, and then I think we can take anyone on at home. There's not a team in the league that I think we'd have a serious amount of trepidation about playing at home.
So
is that our home away form, Wes?
Yeah, I got this stat because I wanted to just check, because we've played 4 less games away. So 4, 3, 6, 9, 12.
Look at that goal difference away from home, though. How are we 4th? Like that. Like if you said, right, this is just an anonymous team, this is their away record. Where are they in the league? You wouldn't be saying nearly 3rd, like 4th, pushing 3rd. I mean, that is 19 goals scored, 18 goals conceded. I mean, incredible away record defensively, but 19 goals. Have you got the actual stats for all the away, like league table, or just Harriers? Because we've got to be, in terms of goals scored away from home, we've got to be sort of bottom 7 or 8 for away goals scored. Which I always think, when it comes to things like a one-off game, massively worry me, because if you've got data over 20 plus games and we're scoring less than a goal a game, just over a goal a game, I don't know. Start to think that's going to be a real roll of the dice kind of day.
At this point, our squad, as it is now, looks like the most threatening in front of goal. And over the series of those away games, we've had 7 or 8 different players starting as a central striker, and in Donnelly, I think we found the one that has really, really clicked, and and I think he will bring other players into that and along with him, and I think we're starting to see some serious contributions from midfield as well, not just from Reece Devine.
He did that Tuesday. I thought Devine, Reynolds, obviously himself, and Seb on Tuesday night looked really I felt like he definitely, to your point, John, I thought those lads almost had a bit of extra swagger about them.
Yeah.
Not quite the same yesterday, but a completely different proposition against a proper team, I suppose, in Chester, who did everything they could, as previously discussed, to sort of stop us. But yeah, Donnelly is an exciting player that plays in a way that you can't help but love as a fan. Ratty, horrible, has that sort of arrogance about him. Just what you want to be watching.
I love
Wouldn't
that
mind
term,
seeing him
Ratty.
alongside somebody at times as well.
KHFC TV says, why is Grassy in there? Not a good stats page, really. Well, technically, he was ours for like a month. And so we obviously take on the goals that he scored.
Well, he scored about 6 goals in the first 3 weeks for Kings Lynn.
Yeah. He scored, and he scored one for us as well. How many did Seb get away at Leamington? Does anyone know?
Was it 8?
2?
Isn't Seb on quite a few goals for the season? I thought he was.
Yeah, I think he scored 5 or 6 at Leamington, didn't
he? And then 2 for us.
By the way, what a player he turned into. By the way, who called that? Just saying.
I think you're starting to see him really improve on those things that he struggled with in those early games for us. He's obviously benefited from going out on loan, and when he came back, I thought he looks like the old Seb Thompson. But last couple of games, and again, I think with the changes in the squad, it's dragged him forward as well. And I think his overall effort, tenaciousness, decision making, delivery has all got better. We know how dangerous he is in the dead ball situation, and he just needs to continue to prove that. But I'm really pleased that it's coming good for him. Despite accusations, there's no agenda against Seb Thompson. I want him to do really well, and hope that he continues to improve and play a big part in the push.
Absolutely. He's looking a bit bigger as well. I wonder if he's been down the gym a few times. I don't know. Yes, Agranicus Seb looks
literally as
stronger.
You said it, that popped up.
Yeah, as I said it popped up.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there you go. We sent him out. Obviously, said eat, mate. John, are you telling him what protein to eat, pal? Is that what this is?
It's I think as well as looking physically stronger, I think he looks mentally stronger when he's going into those situations, needing to recover the second balls, needing to go into a tackle aggressively. He just looks more willing to do that. And one thing that I criticised Seb for before was giving up on situations, not chasing supposed lost causes. And I think you're seeing him do that a lot more, and you get with a couple of good end results. So well done, Seb, and I'm pleased that he's looking like he's going to become a vital part of the team.
His ball striking's good, left foot, right foot. He's one of the cleanest ball strikers in the team. Agreed. Look, he definitely looks physically stronger as well. Still not convinced he loves the contact side of the game personally, but in terms of his deliveries, he has a moment or 2 or 3 or 4 in every game now that I watch him play, which is good. And he clearly has something. That little shift, dropped his shoulder to the left, moved the ball to the right, hit the shot, saved or blocked, and then follow up with a rebound, great finish. He's definitely got attributes. So yeah, I'm pleased to see him in the team. Very different player to George Walker in terms of what he brings. Seb is like an attacking midfield sort of type player, whereas Walker is an out and out wide man, old fashioned winger. And I think throughout between now and the end of the season, we'll need both of those lads at different points in the game in different games.
So it's good to have those options.
Yeah, exactly. Chorley then Tuesday. Let's wrap this up then. Before we do any other business, Chorley Tuesday. What score are we going for? What would you take? Would you take a 1-1? What we say?
1-0. Win, that'd be great. I'll take that all day long.
Oh, happy days. That'd be lovely stuff. Dan?
I'd take a 1-0, but I think bare minimum 1-1. I'd like to see a draw.
That would be my prediction, 1-1.
Yeah.
Of that, John. What about you?
I think it's going to be a physical game. I think that we're probably going to have too much for them. I think this is a game we could improve our away goal difference. So I'm going to go for 2-0.
Oh, I love that.
Big punchy scoreline there, John. Away at Chorley, I'd love that.
Oh yes, absolutely.
I would love that, especially with their. Is it Wilson and who's the guy you wanted us to sign pre-season, John, the captain? Scores goals.
Yeah. Oh God, I forgot.
It's going to really annoy me now. His name.
It's going to really annoy me because I was not cheering for him, obviously, but I was cheerleading for us to go in for him.
I can see his face, but I just can't think
wasn't he a defender as well?
Yes, he scored a hat trick, didn't he? Ellis. Yeah.
Ellis and Wilson are absolute shithouses, and they will not make it easy. Really excited to see Donnelly against them, because that's going to be a proper scrap. Be interesting to see if Murray goes with two up there against that kind of team. And you know what I said at the start about Candola playing in games? I'm surprised he didn't get the nod at Chester. I'll be surprised if Candola plays Tuesday night. I think like that's a Davis, Cooper, Riley Reynolds game. So expect Jack Clark, Cam Candola, and Riley Reynolds to start.
Basically the opposite of anything you say.
That's if,
but yeah,
Riley's still with us, yeah.
I think Ellis's main threat has come from their set pieces, and corner delivery. He always looks like
old-fashioned centre half.
Yeah, he looks like he's going to be in the right position to just nod it home when it comes into that area. But I just think throughout this season we've got so much better at defending corners, and now when the opposition get a corner, as you know, at the start of the season we were going, oh my god, here we go, and now I think there's a real confidence about the team with Obi, with Bird, with I always worry about getting this wrong, but fuck yeah. I think that we've got we've got people in there, even the lads that are doing a bit shift in defence at those points. I think look like we're more dominating when those corners are delivered in from the opposition. So I'm not as worried about that as I would have been. Watch him score 2 now.
Thanks, John, for that. I've got to say that I saw with my own eyes the magicness of leaving. It was 3 up front, 3 on the halfway line, and it was in the first half. And Joe Folks was kind of like in the middle to the right hand side, and we cleared the ball to Joe. And didn't they just go for it? 3 of them, and I think Dan, they had a rectal prolapse. To be fair, like, what are we doing? What are we going to do? Nothing came from it in the end, but it was beautiful to see. At 5.5 well, it's beautiful to see. I loved it, absolutely loved it. So yeah, and also I talked to what's his name, double barreled fella, Henry Motley, or Motley Henry, is it, or something?
Oh, the Chester player.
Yeah, their striker. I don't know why, but in my head, I thought he'd be a very, very tall, quite gangly white man who spoke very well, and he was not that at all. I was chatting with him. I was like, mate, your last name, that's just amazing. I said, we had one game at the beginning of the season where there's about 3 or 4 double-barreled people scored a goal. It was just immense, and he was a
unit, that guy.
Oh,
he
man,
was a real unit.
Now see why he scored so many goals. Yeah, so there you go. Right. Any other business? I'm going to direct this, my comment, any other business. We've been through most of what I was trying to say anyway. Nick, your recommendation of the steak pie, chef's kiss, amazing. It even had a little Harriers emblem on. Now, I don't know if I was supposed to eat that or not, but I ate it anyway. So,
well, you inspired me too, mate, because you popped that on the group chat, and I hadn't had a steak pie and chips, and then I ended up having one, which that's only my 2nd of the season, but it's so good.
Did you miss a goal?
No.
That happened last time, didn't it?
I didn't miss. I mean, if I'd have missed that goal, I missed the only goal I've missed at Agba this season was Giassi's one, in that last time. But yeah, I'd have been absolutely devastated to have missed that one. But no, the pie was good, and I missed no goals.
There you go. I mean, what a Saturday that was, pal? Just didn't get the win. That was all. Any other business, Dan? Please, come on.
No, we've already covered it. I wanted to talk about the Radcliffe financial situation. Good and covered. I had a great time in Miami, just in case anyone's interested. I wasn't all fun. I was there doing some work, but we went on a wonderful Everglades trip, saw lots of alligators and things like that. So it was a great trip. Bit jet lagged today, but happy to be home.
No, happy to be on here, my friend. That's what you're supposed to say.
Do you know, it was great. Sort of there I was in the apartment watching the Harriers on DAZN as well. Watched the Peterborough game, and it was quite early that I was on.
What time was that?
That was 7, so 4 hours before. So what's that? Sort of 3:30.
Not too bad then. Yeah, 3:30.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad.
There you go. Thank you for that. John Smith, any of the business, my friend?
No, I mean, I've just been sat here wondering if there's anyone that you didn't speak to yesterday. To be honest, the amount of people that you seem to have collared for a chat. No, I'm really looking forward to these few games, seeing what we can get out of it, seeing the squad continue to click, and hopefully, fingers crossed, I'll be at Chorley, and I think. It'd be nice to start this difficult run with a win.
That'd be lovely stuff. John, didn't your second born play for Kidderminster Harriers at the weekend?
Oh, well, yeah, today actually. So this is Kidderminster Harriers' new Pan Disability Youth team. We had a tournament at Redditch Borough, played 3, won 3, and 3 clean sheets. So
give him the job.
Yeah,
hang on. That if anything needs a round of applause, it definitely is that.
Well done, John.
Excellent, mate. Excellent. He's the new Pep. That's what he is.
Well, it's all credit to the kids. It's they went out and played with a real fighting spirit and togetherness. And what I was most pleased about is no faked head injuries.
Yeah.
Nick, we'll leave it with you, mate. Any other business for you, my friend?
Not really. Other than to say, I think Dibble made 2 world-class saves. Certainly one world-class save yesterday. Doesn't really get mentioned. Just seems to be par for the course with the guy, but massive player in this team. But yeah, as a goalkeeper, I think sometimes it gets a little bit sort of overlooked. And I think it's always an extra bit of spice for him playing against Chester, being an ex-Wrexham player. So I'm sure he would have really enjoyed those couple of saves. Just a shame that they ended up nicking one towards the end. And then, similar to John, really, for me now feels like this is the real business end of the season where you need to start to see that momentum, that build, that energy around the end of the campaign. It's crazy to think we're mid-March now. Next home game's April, and we're nearly there, aren't we? We're nearly at the end of the season. So I guess just hope we can get that last big push now and start to get that run of performances leading up to a really exciting full house at Agborough, hopefully semi-final. Because let's face it, that's what we're all hoping for now and what we're all sort of envisaging. Let's hope we can get there with fit players. Riley Reynolds isn't going to Yeovil, hopefully. And we can start to, I imagine as well, I do think there'll be a couple of players in over the next week or two, the final sort of players to come in. So, yeah, looking forward to it. Enjoyed the podcast tonight. Some nice comments again yesterday from a few people I saw kicking around the ground. So, hope everyone enjoyed the episode. And, yeah, look forward to Tuesday night.
I just want to reiterate what Nick was saying there. Honestly, I must have about 9 or 10 people come and say, I love the podcast. I had a couple of photos taken of me. I was like, what, do you want to see what you're doing? Take photos.
My dad said he saw.
I had one with Nick. Me and you had one, didn't we? With Mark. I didn't even know it was Marky Mark because I was so low down. He just had sunglasses on. It was quite bright. And then I saw it. You didn't see it though, Nick, because you're not on the Facebook, so you wouldn't have seen that. But it was a lovely photo of you, mate. As always, you look.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, absolutely, 100%.
100%.
Yeah.
My dad said he saw you, Wes, and he said you were surrounded by an entourage of about 15 people. He did want to go and say hello, but he couldn't get in there, apparently. So, celebrity
if your name's
status.
Not down, mate. If your name's not down, you're not getting.
Yeah.
No, but honestly, it was so lovely. It was so lovely to just get all the nice comments come in, especially for the podcast, because it's just something we love, and we just come on a Sunday night, and even if we're feeling like crap. And even if you're feeling rubbish, it does something to you, doesn't it, boys? It just makes you feel better just to get with the lads and just have a chat. If mental health is not so great, then just crack on, and then it's all fun. And I hope that tonight's episode has made you feel great as well. So let's do it. Let's all go to bed. Let's all say thank you so much to Miami's drug lord, which is Dan. Hello, Dan. Thank you so much for coming, Dan. Appreciate that. Oh, his kiddies Pep Guardiola. It's only John Smith. Come on, John. Love John. And Nick as well. He's looking a bit like a backwards milk tray man, I guess. Is that what we're saying?
Backwards.
I mean, I'm not sure I'm having that, Wes.
What?
But
What
I
do you want
sort
me
of
to
get your
say?
point, but I'm not quite sure it's the compliment you intended it to be. But we'll go with it for now.
A backwards milk tray man.
Well, you're not as in mentally. Now thinking about that, maybe that wasn't. But anyway, Nick, you look lovely. If you come in black next weekend, mate, honestly, you'd be perfect. And then you can say, look, it's the milk train man. And here we are. There you go.
We'll have to wait and see.
Well,
Yeah.
when we just thank you guys. Well, listen, I've been Wes. It's been lovely to chat with you tonight. Thank you everyone for all your nice comments that have come in. And yeah, it's been a tough one today. Well, it's not been tough at all, but there's been a lot of talk and a lot of worry. Tell you what, though, 5 away games. If we don't win the first one or the second one, then it will be. What did you call it, Dan? Rectal what?
Rectal prolapse.
Yes, it will be.
Don't go and Google that, by the way, because it's horrendous. Don't do it.
Cheers, guys. Thank you
Have
so
a great
much.
week, everyone.
Yeah.
Guys, up the Harriers.
Yeah, the Harriers. See you later. See you on Tuesday.